Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. Now on today's episode, we're going to be solving some expository questions that you should expect in this year's JAMB Mathematics exam. Okay, now we're going to do a video for both maths and for physics. So this is for maths. Please, if you're new here, kindly subscribe and share this video to all your friends that are writing the 2026 JAMB exam. God bless you. Question number 1. Let's go. As shown on the screen, from the diagram above, find the area of triangle PQR. From the diagram above, find the area of triangle PQR. Now, first things first, we're going to reorient the triangle so that it can stand on the base. Okay, so quickly, we're going to draw the triangle in such a way that it stands on its base, something like this. Okay, and then you can put the values you have there. This is P, this is Q, and this is R. Okay, and then the height of the triangle was given as 13 centimeters, and then the bottom here was 11 and here was 9. Okay, so already it is now a normal triangle. Okay, so how do we find the area of a triangle? The area of a triangle in this format is half base times the height. Okay, where the base is QR and the height is 13. So we can say half times 11 plus 9 times 13. Okay, this becomes half times 20 times 13. Okay, 2 into 20 gives you 10, and what's the answer? 130 centimeters squared. And that's the answer for this question. Question number 2, as displayed on the screen, it says the set 1, let's write that out. The set 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, is equivalent to, now the options given were A, B, C, and D. Now quickly, what is an equivalent set? An equivalent set is a set that contains every element in the other set, either in the given order or in another manner. Just that the elements in both sets must be the same. So in the options given, you can see that option D has 4, 3, 1, 5, and 2. So the answer to question 2 is option D. Question number 3, as shown on the screen, it says, solve the simultaneous equation x over 2 minus y over 5 equals 1 and y minus x over 3 equals 8. Now quickly we can solve by either substitution or elimination. But before we do that, let's try to make the fraction somehow linear. So we're going to multiply each fraction by the LCM of both fractions. Now quickly, 2 and 5 will have 10 as the LCM. We're going to multiply equation 1 by 10. So 10 times half give you 5. So we have 5x, minus 10 times 1 over 5 will give us 2. We're going to have 2y, equals 10 times 1 gives us 10, equation 1. And then for equation 2, you're going to multiply by 3 because 3 becomes the LCM of 3 and 1. That's 3. So quickly doing that, 3 times y will give you 3y, minus 3 times 1 third will give you x, equals 3 times 8, that's 24, equation 2. Now quickly, you're going to make x the subject of formula in equation 2 and then put the value for x into equation 1 to find the value for y. So we have x becomes, from equation 2, 3y minus 24. How did I get that? It's very simple. We take the value of x this way and 24 comes this way, becomes negative. We'll have x equals 3y minus 24. Now from that, we're going to put this value of x into equation 1 so we can find the value of y. So we have 5, open a bracket, 3y minus 24, then minus 2y equals 10. Open the bracket, 15y minus, give you 120 minus 2y equals 10. Now quickly finding the value of y. 15y minus 2y should give us 13y. Let's go over here. We have 13y, then can be equals to 10 plus 120 gives you 130. So cancel out, y becomes what? Y becomes 10. Now you've gotten the value of y, you can find the value of x because x equals to 3y minus 24. So let's plug that in to get the value of x. So x should become 3 times 10, okay, then minus 24. So x should become 30 minus 24, and that gives you 6, okay. So the answers are 6 and 10 respectively for x and y. Okay guys, question number 4 as shown on the screen. It says solve the inequality 2x plus 3, okay. So we have 2x plus 3 greater than 5x plus 8. Now quickly, inequalities equations can be solved by just applying normal method of normal equations, okay, but take note of the sign. So let's solve quickly. We're finding x. Okay, let's collect like terms with respect to x, okay. So we're going to have 2x, okay, minus 5x greater than 8 minus 3, okay. So 2 minus 5 gives you negative 3x, okay, and then greater than what now? 5. Now we're going to find x by dividing both sides by negative 3. Now the law for inequality says whenever you divide or multiply by negative value on both sides, okay, you're going to swap the inequality sign for the opposite, okay. So since we're dividing by negative 3, we're going to say x should now become less than, okay, minus 5 over 3. So this should be the answer to the question. X is less than minus 5 over 3. Okay guys, question number 4 as shown on the screen. It says given that a operation b equals a plus b divided by ab plus a minus b, find the value of 3 operation 2. Okay, find the value of 3 operation 2. Now quickly, we're going to solve this question. This under binary operation. How do you solve binary operation? We just compare and substitute. Now we are finding 3 operation 2, but we're giving a operation b, meaning a becomes 3 and b becomes 2. You're going to have 3 plus 2 over 3 times 2 plus 3 minus 2, okay. So 3 operation 2 becomes, we have 5 over 6 plus 1. Now this can be simplified. 6 times 1 equals 6 plus 5. You have 11 over 6 as your final answer, okay. Okay guys, question number 6 as displayed on the screen. It says simplify 125 to the power of minus 1 over 3 times 49 to the power of minus half times 10 to the power of 0. Now quickly, this question is coming from indices, okay. Now for solving indices questions, we apply the laws of indices, which are about 8 or 9 laws depending on the way you were taught. Okay, now from the question on the board, we have powers on the numbers, okay. So quickly, we're going to try to simplify the numbers given to us to have simpler numbers having a power. So first things first, 125 is simply 5 to the power of 3. But don't forget the power of minus 1 over 3 that was in the question, okay. Then multiplied by 49 is 7 to the power of 2. And don't forget the power of negative half. And then we all know that any number raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1, okay. So this gives us 1. But don't forget, 0 raised to the power of 0 is not 1, it's undefined, okay. So now quickly from here, we're going to apply one of the laws of indices given to us, which for my Nigerian students, I call it the Avian law. The Avian law. The law, that song that says inside your Avian, another Avian day inside, right? Now, looking at this expression here, inside this your power, another power day inside. Okay, we have multiple powers for a number. So quickly, what do? You pick the base and then you multiply the powers together, okay? You pick the base and multiply the powers together. So do that same thing for the 7 guy. Pick the base and multiply the power together. Now 1 remains as 1. Okay, now quickly you can cancel out what you have on top and bottom. So 3 takes out 3, or call it base. Okay, so 2 takes out 2. We have what here? 5 raised to the power minus 1 times 7 raised to the power minus 1. Then you apply the inverse law. So this becomes 1 over 5 times 1 over 7, and that gives you 1 over 35. So this becomes the answer to this question. Okay guys, question number 7 as shown on the screen says find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line PQ given P as minus 3, 4 and Q as 5, 6. Now, this comes from the topic called coordinate geometry. Okay, now when you're asked to find the midpoint of a line, you can find the midpoint for the x, which basically is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the midpoint for y, which is y1 plus y2, all divided by what? By 2. Now I'm going to quickly drop all the formulas for coordinate geometry on the board so you can just remember it, okay, easily. Okay, first things first, equation of a straight line says y equals mx plus c, okay, where m is the gradient, okay, and c is the intercept. Okay, now this c is the intercept on the y-axis. Okay, and now if you're asked to find the intercept on the x-axis, it is basically the negative cy over n. Okay, negative cy over n. Now how do we form this line when you are given coordinates? Okay, you want to say y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 all equal to m. So this helps to form the equation of what now? Of the straight line. Now the straight line equation can also be expressed in terms of the intercept. Okay, we can have the x over the cx plus y over cy all equals 1. Okay, this also works. And then again, to find the length or the distance of a line, we apply x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. Okay, and then midpoints are shown on the board already. And then to find the angle between two lines, okay, is basically m1 minus m2 over 1 plus m1 m2. Actually, we'll take the absolute value. Okay, so these expressions, the formulas, are important in coordinate geometry. Now back to our question. Okay, quickly, from the coordinates given, remember x comes before y. Okay, so this is x1 and this is y1, and this is x2 and this is y2. So applying the formula on the board, we're going to then say the one for x mid is going to be x1 is minus 3 and x2 is 5. Okay, all divided by 2. So what is minus 3 plus 5? You owe 3 and then you pay 5. Okay, you don't owe anymore. You're going to have 2. So we have 2 divided by 2, and that should give you 1. Okay, and then the y mid, the y1 is 4. Okay, and y2 is 6 all over 2. So that gives you 10 over 2, and then you cancel out, you get 5. Okay, so the answer for the midpoint of this line can be expressed in coordinate form as the x mid and then the y mid. So the answer is 1, 5. Question number 8, as shown on the screen, it says, given that cos A equals 12 over 13, okay, for 0 less than A less than 90, find tan A. Quickly, we are given cos A to equal 12 divided by 13. Now I'm going to give you, okay, what to apply, what to do. Quickly, remember that the ratio for cos is basically adjacent over hypotenuse. And then recall again that in Pythagoras theorem, we all know that hypotenuse squared must be equal to the opposite squared plus the adjacent squared. Now, given a value for cos, it means we have just adjacent and who? Hypotenuse. So the missing guy is what now? The opposite. Okay, so how can we find the opposite? We're going to apply Pythagoras what theorem. So quickly, let's put in the values. The hypotenuse is 13 and the adjacent is 12. So we're going to say 13 squared equals the unknown guy, the opposite squared, plus 12 squared. Okay, this gives you 169 equals the opposite squared plus 144. And then collect like I'm going to have 169 minus 144 equals to the opposite squared. Now this should give you 25. Okay, and then you have opposite squared. So take the square root of both sides. Okay, you're going to say the opposite must be equal to 5. Okay, now we're asked to find tan A. Tan A. Now recall that the ratio for tan is basically opposite over adjacent. Okay, so we know our opposite is 5 now, and the adjacent was how many? Was 12. So the answer becomes 5 over 12. But instead of doing these things in the day of the exam, just remember There's something we call triangle of threes. Okay, if you have 3 and you have 4, the missing number is 5. Okay, if you have 5, if you have 12, the missing guy is 13. If you have 6, if you have 8, the missing guy is 10. So these guys are common questions you have in JAMB or any exam rather that you can easily solve without wasting time. So if you are known this triangle of 3 and you see 12 and 13, that's this guy. Obviously, you know 5 is the missing guy. So you know the opposite should be 5 immediately, and then you get your answer and move on. So thank you. There's the answer to this question. Okay, question number 9 as shown on the screen. It says, which of the following angles cannot be constructed using a protractor, a compass, and a sharpened pencil? Now quickly, I'm going to give you an easy way out. Okay, now there's something we call special angles in trigonometry, which range from 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. Okay, so these are special angles all together. Okay, now you can also have other angles outside these guys, okay, that are not per se special angles but can be gotten from these values. We call that quadrant system. Okay, so for example, 90 plus 45 can give you 135. That's also a special angle. Okay, 90 plus 30, 120. So when you do your additions or multiples of these guys, the angles you get can be constructed. So from the options given, let's see the options we're given. Option A is 135. Okay, and ideally, like I just told you, 90 plus 45 will give you 135. So this guy can be constructed. Option B says 90. 90 already is here. It can be constructed. Option C says 145. Now 90 plus 45 is 135. 90 plus 60 is 150. But we have this guy. So this guy should not be constructed by your protractor. Okay, option D says, let's see, option D says 60, and 6 is already here, so the correct answer to the question should be option C, 145. Okay guys, question number 10 as shown on the screen says, find the number of permutations of the letters of the word school. Now this topic is very interesting. Okay, from the topic we call permutation and combination. Okay, now the find the number, okay, of permutations of the letters of the word school. You can easily just apply factorial. How do I mean? The number of ways you can arrange this guy is equal to, let's count the elements or letters here, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we have 6 factorial ideally, but check, a letter appears twice, the letter O. Whenever you have a letter repeating itself, you're going to divide your answer by the amount of times that letter repeated. So O appeared how many times? Twice. So we're going to see divided by 2 factorial. Okay, and now 6 factorial is 720, and then 2 factorial is 2. So this should give you 360 ways. So the answer is 360. Number 11, as shown on the screen, it says y is partly constant and partly varies as x. When x equals 3, y equals 7. And when x equals 5, y equals 11. Find the constants of variation. Now, this is from the topic called variation. I said in the question, we have different kind of variation. We have direct variation, indirect, we have joint, and we have partial. Now, this is under partial variation. Why? They said partly constant. We're going to be having 2 constants from the question. Now, this is how you express this kind of question. Now, they said y is partly constant. That means y is equal to a particular constant, constant 1. Okay, and partly varies. So we're going to say plus for and. Because it's varying, we have under constant, constant 2 as x, so the direct variation. So we're going to write have x over there. Okay, so now this is the relationship between y and x, this expression. And then when x is 3, y is 7. So for the first instance, okay, y is 7, we have k1, and x was how many? 3. So we have 3k2. Now this is equation 1. And then when x is 5, y is 11. So the next part, y is 11, we have k1 again, and then x was 5. So we have 5k2, equation 2. So we're asked to find the value of the constant. Now already, I'm sure you know you're going to apply simultaneous equation. Okay, so quickly, we can easily eliminate because k1 and k1 are standing alone. Okay, so we're going to do equation 2 minus, okay, equation 1 because 2 is bigger than 1, obviously. Okay, so 11 minus 7 will give you, that's 4, equals k1 minus, that's out, 5 minus 3 is 2, so we have 2k2, and then 2 takes out 4, k2 becomes what? 2. Now if k2 is 2, we can find k1 by plugging the value of k2 into equation 1. So in equation 1, you're going to have 7 equals k1 plus 3 times k2. What's k2? 2. So 3 times 2 equals 6. So we have k1 to be equals 7 minus 6, and that should give you 1. So k1 is 1 and k2 is 2. Okay guys, question number 12.